Hi, I'm Aaron Spence, the Superintendent of Virginia Beach City Public Schools, and this is the next in an ongoing series of videos that we are putting together to keep you up to date with what's happening in our school division during this extended closure. I know it's hard to believe, but the original 2-week closure ordered by the governor is now coming to an end, and what we all thought was just going to be a quick blip in our academic year is turning into something that none of us could have imagined. I just want to say quickly how grateful I am for our community, for our teachers, our students, and our parents, for your grace and for your willingness to continue to work with us and your patience and understanding as we try to figure out as a school division how to continue to serve and meet the needs of the children in our community, how to keep them engaged in their learning, how to keep them fed, how to keep our community well. We have gotten a lot of questions, as you can imagine, about how we're going to keep moving forward. We have sent or will be sending on Thursday an email communication that we think answers many of those questions. We know there'll still be more questions, but we would ask you to please read that email carefully. We have sent communications to our family and to our staff. Please be on the lookout for those in your inbox. So I do want to answer a few of the questions that we've been getting. Let me start first with letting you know there's been a calendar change. Our school board did have an emergency meeting to adjust our calendar for the year. They voted to allow us to move our third quarter marking period to end on April the 24th, which means our fourth quarter marking period will begin on April the 27th and continue till the end of the school year. The primary reason to do that was to make sure that we had enough time to figure out how we will continue with instruction. I think the key message that I need to share about that is that instruction must continue. According to guidelines that we've gotten from the federal government and from the state government, we have to continue with instruction, and in order to ensure that our students are able to be promoted to the next grade level or to receive the graduation, the credits that they need in their high school courses that are required for graduation, we must document and they must demonstrate that they are learning the objectives that we were not able to teach prior to March the 13th. That is why our continuity of learning plan stays in place, and that is why we will continue to enhance and make that program more comprehensive as we head into the fourth quarter. So the key message for our parents and for our students is keep doing the work. It matters. It will count towards your promotion to the next grade level, and importantly for our high school students, it will count towards getting those credits that you need in order to graduate on time. How all of this is going to be graded, how all of this is going to count towards calculations in our GPA, for example, for our high school students is still to be figured out, and we will be sharing that information as soon as we are able to do so. I know that for our seniors in particular, you've been hit hard by this. This is not fair that this has happened to the class of 2020, and I want to say that I recognize that and that we are really paying attention to that. The questions that I know you have and that you're asking, and so I want to speak specifically to our seniors for just a moment and their parents, are we going to be able to graduate? And the answer to that is yes, you are going to be able to graduate. If you were in classes that you needed to graduate before March 13th and you were on track to graduate, we are going to have wide latitude to make sure that that happens. We're going to be able, for example, to have waivers for many of the other requirements that you need to graduate, for example, verified credits. There are some requirements that are in state law, and I know that the Department of Education will be working with the General Assembly to seek waivers on those. But the answer is if you're on track, if you're doing the work and showing us that you're doing the work that's needed to verify that you're learning those objectives and staying on track, you're going to graduate. If you're struggling and you're not sure that you're on track, our teachers and our principals are going to work with you to keep you on track. Our goal will be to be as flexible and as reasonable as possible to make sure that if you're a senior, you will graduate with the class of 2020. More information about that is available in that email that I referenced. The other thing that we hear a lot about from our seniors and from many of our students is what about all of these milestone events that happen in the spring of the school year? As I've said before, I wish that I could give you better answers on these milestone events, things like prom and ring dance and many of the other things that happen, and especially about graduation ceremonies themselves. Unfortunately, we're still following the CDC guidance and the orders from the governor around large gatherings, and until that information changes, we're not going to be able to make any decisions about how those things will work. However, I do know that we're going to have to make some decisions given the timeliness of some of those events and we will be, for example, what to do about prom, and we will be making those decisions shortly and communicating that as well. I will say, relative to our graduation ceremonies for our seniors, it is our intention to make sure that something happens for you. We don't know what that'll look like yet, but we do have a team working on that, making recommendations. And once we're able to make a decision, obviously we will communicate with all of you as quickly as we can. So I want to pause there, and I want to share some good news. I think we all need some good news, and so I'd like to congratulate our 5 Virginia Beach City Public Schools Teacher of the Year finalists. I want all of these teachers to know that they do amazing work for our students every single day, and I have no doubt that they will continue to do so even during this closure. So I hope everybody in our community will join me in congratulating Angela Casamano, social studies teacher at Princess Anne High School; Robert Magas, an adapted physical education teacher in the K-12 Special Education Annex; Daniel Ramos, an HVAC teacher at the Technical and Career Education Center; Christina Vogt, theater teacher at Salem High School; and Rebecca Yapel, math teacher and innovation lab teacher at Bayside Middle School. A huge congratulations to all of those teachers, and I hope that news helps uplift our community, as I know it warmed my heart when I received that information today. I have committed during these chats to make sure that I try to answer some of the questions that you have, and so we have gotten a few questions that I want to just address very quickly. So one of the questions is, why are teachers not working at school? Again, we're following the guidance around large gatherings, and obviously with the size of our faculties, having all of our teachers in the building would not be tenable. However, in the email communications that are going out, we are providing a little bit of information for our community about access to our school buildings for essential functions, if you'll just check that. I have a number of folks who have asked about the concerns about their ability as parents or as teachers to meet the learning needs of our students while also having to deal with things like their own work obligations and childcare issues. And the question is, do we have any idea about what the virtual learning or teaching time commitment is going to look like as we move forward for our teachers and for our parents and students? So as I stated in a recent video, we really don't want to be the source of additional stress in our community at this time. But at the same time, we know that our teachers are still working, and we're not going to be making this time up. So all of us need to understand that these are school days. Our goal is to balance those two realities, not adding additional stress, but also continuing to learn. And so as we try to understand all of those issues, I think that what we would say is reasonableness will be the order of the day. It won't be our intention to replace hour for hour instruction, but we will be asking students to continue to submit this work and our teachers to continue to provide opportunities to provide feedback and interact with our students. One of the key questions we keep getting is, are we going to be able to continue with the current meal distribution program? And the answer to that is yes. Our intention is to continue to distribute meals as long as we are able to do so. We have been delivering around 10,000 meals every single day, even with the bad weather, so we have a lot to be proud of there, and we do intend to continue with that. And if you need more information about that, it's in the email that we've sent as well as on our website. So again, let me just thank you for your patience during this time. I ask you all to please take care of yourselves as well. Just a chance here to remind you about the importance of following the CDC guidelines and social distancing. All of that information we are sharing in resources on our website. I'll just reiterate, the website is www.vbschools.com/COVID-19. Please visit that website to see what information we have available there. And I believe we're going to try to put a video in here so that you can see a nice example of how social distancing can be helpful. With all of that said, again, I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Stay well, and we'll be in touch soon.